FSF PopCast live show. And would you look at that? We're in a live show.
Hey,
all right,
Tim figured out technology.
I did the thing. I pushed a button, and it does it automatically now. I don't have to try and figure out the go live and the start the video and then figure out again which video it's supposed to be, which video it's not supposed to be. It works out much better. It's much better, gooder.
Yeah, my phone's even telling me that we're live now. So
exactly, you're live. I think it's a different statement. All right, but all right. So if you are here to watch the FSF PopCast review, the brand new Star Wars show, which is called Skeleton Crew. Now we've been looking forward to this. Yes. All right. So snap review. It's wonderful. And we've been looking forward to this. I've written articles for Couch Soup about this, what I've been looking forward to. And I've been calling this Space Goonies since I've heard about this show. And so I've been looking forward to this. Just as a reminder, as we're going through this, we're going to talk about things that happened directly in episode 1 and episode 2. There are spoilers coming up if you have not watched those episodes. So please proceed with caution. If you're watching this, John and I want you to enjoy what's coming. If you have thoughts, comments about anything we're talking about, please put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But just please remember, as the banner says down below, spoiler warning for what's about to come. So, but yeah, so like I said, today this is part of our FSF PopCast SideBar series. We are reviewing the Skeleton Crew episodes 1 and 2. Before we jump in anything, we want to remind you that this show is only made possible by the support of our show partners, Eddie AI, which helps us with all of our shorts and reels. Level Up Lightsabers, because it's the only lightsaber guaranteed to be better than a stick. And if you're not following Master Allen on TikTok and Instagram, you really should be, because the man's doing the Lord's work out there, giving away lightsabers to people who really need them and want them. So,
and Blue Sky. Can't forget Blue Sky.
Exactly. Yeah, he's out there too. He's on Blue Sky as well, and Threads. So anywhere, yeah, you just look up Level Up Lightsabers or Alan White, Master Allen. You'll find him. TCT, where fandom meets fashion. And yeah, they have some really cool merch based on Midwest stuff and a lot of really cool nerdy stuff. And then our latest one, and I'm going to skip to the next slide for this one. Our newest show partner is Bones Coffee. So if you go to their website, you can go to www.bonescoffee.com/FSF PopCast, and you will find all the things that you can find that are coffee related. They've got Fallout themed coffee, SpongeBob themed coffee, Star Wars themed coffee, and that's just touching on the first couple ones I looked at as I was going through the list the other day. But yeah, so there's all kinds of really cool things there. If you use the code at checkout, FSF PopCast, if you just go to bonescoffee.com, use FSF PopCast at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. So it's many much funds for everybody, and they've got some wonderfully amazing coffee flavors.
And coffee is life.
Coffee is life. I don't care what Ted Lasso said. It's coffee that's life, not football. So anyway, but you know, sometimes football too. All right. Anyway,
if the Lions keep winning like they are, football is life.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we're just going to jump right into it. And again, spoiler warnings. Here we go. So we're going to talk first about the characters that we meet up with. First up is good old Wim.
I love this kid.
He is
a dreamer,
this kid. He? Right? Yeah. He wants to be a Jedi. He's thinking about escaping to a planet far, far away. He's, you know, praying that he'll find a starship and he can go do something with it.
I still want to be a Jedi and find a starship and go far, far away. I mean, admittedly, I want to take my wife and kid with me. Yeah, but you know,
depends on the day. I get you.
It does. Yeah. But yeah, I think every Star Wars fan can relate to this kid because this was us.
The dreamer of the group.
Even his friend, you know, Neil is like, I can't believe you said you wanted to be a Jedi in front of the whole class. Like,
no, I didn't say that. You basically did.
Yeah. Such a kid conversation.
Right?
I related to that, like on a genetic level.
I loved the bus stop scene, honestly. I mean, it was such just such a kid thing to do. You know, you should not have come here. I was like,
yep. Yep.
I love that they were using Star Wars lines in a Star Wars show to have a play lightsaber fight. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
It was just so heartwarming. And then speaking of Neil, my little blue friend, I want to talk for a quick second about him because I love the fact that one of the things that Star Wars has always been really good at, in my opinion, is creature creation.
Okay.
In comparison to a lot of other sci-fi genres out there, I think Star Wars is probably one of the best, if not the best, at creature creation for characters and things along that line. And Neil is another great example of this because I'm going to need all the Neil plushies and Funko Pops I can find. He's going to be a problem for me.
Yeah. I think Disney's dropping the ball by not having this merch out just in time for Christmas. You know,
right? I don't know what I don't know who made that decision, but I guarantee you, if this little dude was a plushie, the sales would be through the Baby Yoda roof.
Yeah, because like they didn't have any merch for this guy when Mando season 1 came out, but Neil was in all the trailers. We've seen him for months.
Right. It should be here.
They need to try harder to take my money.
Exactly.
They just had their Black Friday deal. I've got a little extra money on the side now. I can buy a plushie.
Right. I would have at least a plushie, if not a plushie and a Funko at this point, if they were available now.
Disney, shut up and take my money, or somebody else will.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think of it, but I should have put it in the slideshow, the one from Futurama with him, holding the fistful of money. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Because that's the accuracy of this whole part right here. But this kid, he's nervous and inquisitive all at the same time, but he's the nervous nerd. And I do like that. You got the dreamer nerd, you got the nervous nerd. But
Neil's trying to fit in. Wim doesn't care so much.
Yeah, Wim's just like, this is who I am. Yeah. And I saw this morning, and I don't know who the artist is, but I want to share this because I think it's fantastic. This is everything to me right now. I absolutely love this image. I don't know who the artist is, but kudos to them, whoever they are. And if anybody who's watching knows who the artist is, I would love to give them credit for this and be like, hey, check out this really cool image I found on the internet. But yeah, this was put up to me. I was shown to me in a random post this morning with no attachments to it. So I literally have no idea who did this, but yeah. Good times.
I would like a little version of that as stickers to put on like my little model pirate ships that I have.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
I'm that nerd.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be good times.
Yeah.
All right. Next up in the list is Fern.
I love this kid.
She cracks me up. I honestly think this is what your daughter would be like in a few years.
Oh, okay. So, but she's like the supervisor's daughter, kind of like being the teacher's daughter, the principal's daughter. In certain communities, the preacher's daughter. She acts all good, but she's causing trouble behind the scenes, and mom just doesn't see it yet.
Exactly. That's going to be your daughter.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, you forget. I remember I know who your wife is.
Yeah, how's your daughter doing? Anyway.
Hi, Kathleen. That's not part of this conversation. Anyway, but one of the things I loved about her is like she's going through all these stories of things that happen, and like she's making stuff up on the fly.
Oh yeah.
And telling these extravagant lies that are almost really believable. Like she's just like that close to having these things be believable, and she's selling them hardcore.
Yeah.
And then the whole in episode 2, the whole scene there where they're at the beginning where they're at the spaceship and they're trying to get in, they're trying to decide who gets the inside, who gets the outside, and the negotiation process between the girls and the boys. It's just fantastic because I love it because Wim thinks he's got them by the tail, and she's like, no, I got this. It's fine.
No. And at that stage of life, girls are mentally and emotionally miles ahead of boys.
Light years.
And then, around the age of 12 or 13, we just stop maturing entirely. And we still talk about Star Wars in our 40s.
Yeah. And then there's, I call this person Jordy Jr.
KB.
Her name is KB.
Yeah.
The one thing I haven't figured out is if that's just an added prosthetic to her, or if that is just something she's wearing to wear.
It's hard to say.
You know, and I'm kind of hoping that at some point throughout the series we'll find out if that's, you know, because she could flip it up and down with push of a button. Like, I'm curious to see will she be able to like take it off, or is that just, you know, now added to her like a prosthetic, kind of like those the adults who have the, I can't think of what they're called in Star Wars right now, but they've got like the, you know, the little computer pack behind their ears and things.
Yeah, like a Lobot.
But, yes, exactly. Thank you. So I don't know if that's what this is. You know, it could be, but I doubt it. It doesn't. It's not exactly the same. But
I don't know if we've seen her in class. I'd have to go back and watch it again.
That's a good question. I'm not sure either.
I don't think we've seen her or Fern in class, have we?
I think Fern. Fern was in the same class that Wim and Neil were in. I don't remember seeing her in that class, but I know that that Fern, Wim, and Neil were in the class. Especially when we didn't realize at the time, but it was Fern's mom coming in to talk about you know, the placement tests and all those other things. And what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a Jedi, basically.
I still want to be a Jedi.
You basically said you want to be a Jedi.
I still want to be a Jedi.
Who doesn't?
Oh, do you still do the thing when you go into the grocery store where you like the automatic
wave
doors?
the hand?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And every time you pick
I can.
a broomstick. Yeah. We all do it.
If I'm walking into a store and it has automatic doors, not only do I wave my hand, but then I look at my wife and go, "You're welcome. I open the doors for you."
So what's really fun is I've got my daughter. She'll do that with the van doors because we have the remote to open them.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And for a solid year, she actually thought she had the Force.
I love that kid.
Until she saw one of us using the remote. And then she got so mad. Oh, I'd do it again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Now it's just a game. You know, it's like, okay, you're done being mad about it. All right, we'll go back to playing.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of the other characters that we saw on screen. And some of these are very entertaining to me. Like this fine gentleman here.
That's me.
It's me. SM33.
I mean, his name is a pirate joke,
right?
You know, because of the Captain Hook's sidekick assistant. You know, yeah, I just absolutely love it. And he's missing an eye, and he has is that a mouse or a squirrel or something living in his head? It's almost like
the rat that keeps popping out. Oh,
yeah,
pops out, runs around, whoop, right back in.
Well, he's got a peg leg too,
like,
right? I love this guy.
Right?
This is now. He's tied for my first favorite droid right now.
Yeah, this is the other thing that Star Wars does really well. When we talked about character creation with the plushies and Neil and all those type of things, but they're really good at creating droids as well, and and enjoyable droid characters. Even if I don't care what people think of the sequel trilogy. BB-8 is awesome. You know, little Dio is awesome. You know,
K2SO is the bomb.
Oh, I love K2SO.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing more of him. You know, next
year.
Right?
Andor season 2.
Yep,
he is in it. I'm very much looking forward to that. And the best part for me is if you go back and you read any of Alan Tudyk's interviews about K2SO, a lot of those lines that we're seeing online on the screen, or that we saw on the screen were improvised. Those were Alan Tudyk. You know. Especially the one about where she's like, you know, you're being nice to me, and he's like, I have to, you know.
Yeah, that's me at work.
Cassian said I had to.
I'm being nice to you because the boss said I might get fired if I don't.
Pretty much. That's So, but this guy, the whole time I saw him on screen, the only thing I could think of was our very own droid in our Star Wars RPG, which we play the second Monday of every month.
That's this coming Monday
on our channel. It's this upcoming Monday. Our very own Scurvy, who's afraid of math. Hi, Ben.
Yeah,
that's Scurvy is He's a B2 battle droid who's a pirate battle droid. who is played by our co-host Ben, and it's a really good time. And I just every time he talks, I'm like, I could see Ben saying that line. Ben's probably gonna steal that. Ben's gonna say that line.
Oh yeah.
So
I fully expect notes are being. I know I'm taking notes anyway.
Right, which also scares the crap out of me. But yeah, this dude is just too good. And I think he's gonna be more fun as things go, especially now that he thinks that Fern is the captain. So,
and that was just brilliant. I mean, that was obviously like a natural 20 on a deception or bluff roll.
Right? Exactly.
That was great. Oh,
yeah. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. All right. And then we have this scene. This is from episode 1.
Yes.
We've got these three fellas.
Brutus.
Brutus, thank you. My mind just went blank. I'm like, all I could think of was Shistavanian. I know that he's a Shistavanian. Couldn't think of his name. So Brutus, the Shistavanian, is, we got him there. We've got Gunter, which I think is and this was something that Screen Crush Ryan Airy brought out, that his name is probably a play on like Ready Player One's, the Egg Hunters.
Yeah.
They got shortened to Gunter. And I'm like, that's actually really kind of cool. If that's what it is, that's a really cool nod to something that's, out in the ether already.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool nod. Well, hello there, Granzier. Howdy. Welcome to the show. So they're Gunter, and then of course you got Vane, and we'll look at a little of these. Now, some of the interesting things about these three, if you remember, this is from A New Hope. This is the first time we saw a Shistavanian, and this is a really, really cool, really kind of a cool throwback. They've been canon for a long time, but this image was taken out of A New Hope when George Lucas redid. I don't remember which version of the redid that he redid it in, but it was taken out. Another scene was added in the cantina, and we no longer saw it because George Lucas didn't like the really bad rubber wolf masks that they had, and so he wanted to do it a different way.
Yep.
Let's see. Granger says, "Lads, gents, remember December the 5th, night of the Krampus. All hail Krampus."
Is Krampus not? Oh boy, I need to warn some neighborhood children.
Yeah,
or not. Maybe they'll just disappear. I don't know.
Depends on the children.
One of them's mine.
Exactly. Now, the next person in that list, we see this fine fellow. We were talking about him. That's Gunter. And if you don't recognize the face, you'll be able to hear this next picture. Did I do that? Exactly. But yeah, that is played by Jaleel White, who masterfully brought Steve Urkel to life. And if you don't think that was a piece of masterful acting, that really is, because Jaleel White is nothing like that character, and that's why it's called acting, ladies and gentlemen.
These are fictional characters.
I don't know. Are you sure about that?
I mean, I was kind of like Urkel when I was a kid too. So I mean, I'm connected to this show more than I thought.
An Urkel Jedi. God, I would love to see that.
I tried. I was a lot paler than these guys, but I tried.
That is cool. Awesome that he's in a Star Wars show. I know, right? It's really cool that he's getting a chance to do something like this, and I hope that it pays off with him being able to do more things like this. He got pigeonholed for a long time as only being able to be Urkel because that's all people could see him as. But yeah, so hopefully more people will see this and see that he's able to play other roles and get him back into some bigger things out into the ether for everybody to be able to enjoy. Now, the last one is that guy just over his shoulder. That, of course, is Vane. We saw Vane in Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Season 3, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we know roughly when this is set, because obviously there was a New Republic credit on the floor. Just the one credit. Just one credit. They boarded this whole ship for one measly credit.
Yep.
And Vane's an active pirate. So we know it's, around the same time as Mando. Whether or not Van before or after, maybe during. I don't think that's been specified.
I think it was. I want to say they're parallel.
Okay. But this is specifically New Republic, post Return of the Jedi, obviously.
Yep.
Before the prequels, in that little window that they've been playing in recently.
Yeah.
Where we know nothing.
We know nothing.
That's right.
So, but yeah, so it's kind of cool. We're seeing some of these crossover of characters between some of these Star Wars shows that Disney has brought forward, and it's kind of tying them together. And this is one of the things. Now, I know that Filoni's not directly involved with the show. He does have ties to it. But one of the things I will give Filoni credit for is he likes to make sure that this attaches to this, which attaches to this, which attaches to this. He likes to tie up those loose ends and keep things in a nice systematical order. And so I really do appreciate that about his storytelling. And even though, like I said, he's not directly involved with the storytelling of this, but he is a higher up in the Star Wars power structure. So hopefully now he's, kind of wielding some of that influence across the board.
Yeah.
So,
because structure and story and an actual plan for where things are going is what Star Wars needs.
If they had a character that looked like Rory the Lion mascot, then it would be full of win.
I don't quite get it.
I don't quite get that one either. Sorry, Grandeur. That one kind of. But I'm going to take your.
Oh,
I will go ahead and.
Wait, Rory the Lion, was he from Madagascar?
Could have been.
I don't know.
Possible.
Sorry.
Possible.
We know a lot of things, but we don't know everything. Just ask our wives. And our kids.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, Crom.
I did not know that. I will be 110% honest. I had no idea that the Lions mascot was named Rory. That makes way more sense now. And yes, that would be an amazing win.
That would.
But yeah, I did not. I got nothing.
Okay, I learned something today. I'm done.
I learnified. I got educated.
Thank you, friend.
No need for apologies. I'm also a sports nerd. Typically, just did not know that bit of sports nerd trivia. So fantastic. That's one of those things, honestly, that I know now, and we'll get locked in there. I'll be like, so did you know that his name is Rory? Bet you didn't know that. All right. Yep. So
we had an exchange of information. I really appreciate that. I learned something.
Exactly. Hopefully you guys get some laughs. We learned something today. Everybody wins.
Yep.
All right. So the next thing is I wanted to show, and that John and I were talking about this afternoon, is one of the things I love about Skeleton Crew is it has some very strong 80s movies throwback vibes. To me, this is Star Wars meets Goonies and Stranger Things. We got like 1980s Americana suburbia here, but at Adden, an alien planet.
Yeah.
And this just looks like suburbia with all the houses in a row and the perfectly lined streets. And
everything's so organized to the point that the cars run on rails instead of being able to go where they want.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's a little weird.
I love the alien walking the alien dog. And then there was one that was walking a loft cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
So that dog was actually a frog dog, the same kind that Jabba the Hutt had in his palace. Yeah. They're actually sentient. They're only pets if they choose to be for some reason.
Well, that's cool.
So
I didn't know that either.
That there's an Ithorian walking a frog dog is a little suspect. A little bit.
Right? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But then there was somebody else was walking a loft cat. And I thought that was really kind of funny because loft cats are very much like our human, our earth cats. And if you've ever tried to walk a cat, leashes are fun. Good luck. Hope you wore very thick pants.
Kathleen made it work a couple of times. The cats hate her for months afterwards, but
I'm positive of that. But yeah, so it's just very much this whole throughout the whole show, we see kids getting on buses and going to school, and we're getting this nice setup for what's to come. And what we're seeing in these episodes, we're seeing like the setup for 80s suburbia movies where if this was E.T., I could very much see this placed in ET as well. This type of setting that we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, should be interesting. Yeah. But then we meet the parents.
This jerk.
This jerk.
Okay,
I'm going to sit back, shut up, and let John rant.
So I did not like Wim's dad at first because he's all, well, I'm going to work. You got to get yourself on the bus. I'm going to get home just in time for bedtime. And then I'm not going to read you a freaking story, even though you're like, will you read me a story like mom used to? I almost cried right there. Okay. Because I was watching
that was a little heartbreakingly cold.
I was watching this after reading my daughter a bedtime story. Okay. It's like if she asked me to read a story, or if she asked Kathleen to read her story like dad used to, okay, that's the things. Where's mom?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing the Disney thing where mom died off screen?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how I took it,
Yeah.
And so this guy's just like, nah, I'm tired. I got to go to bed. Like, nah, 5 minutes, dude.
I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. But like, Wim's a latchkey kid. He puts himself on the bus. Well, he tries to put himself on the bus in the morning. Yeah, me too. I had I had multiple summers where I swear I didn't see my parents because they were both working.
Yeah.
He puts himself on the bus in the morning. He gets home from school afterwards. And honestly, nobody knows where he is unless, they check his room, and kids don't stay in their rooms when they're supposed to. We're off in the woods doing stuff, digging up what we think are Jedi temples. Tim, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm listening to you.
You've had a tendency of freezing lately. But yeah, like just the he's the only parent. He's only got one kid. What is society doing to this guy? The society on Atten. What's so important? What is the great work that he can't spend more time with his kid?
Yeah.
I'm a little upset with this guy.
Fair enough.
At the same time, he also doesn't have his wife anymore, so I can see there being some sort of emotional damage he's trying to hide. I might be reading too much into it. It's Star Wars Goonies.
Yeah. Who knows? But here's a little fun fact. I found this today.
Okay.
I don't know how well that's sharing, but there it is.
That's sharing.
That's him. That is the actor.
Okay.
His name is Tunde Ademipape, and I'm sure that I just slaughtered his name, so I am very sorry for that. But he is the lead singer from a band called TV on the Radio.
Really?
Yep.
Excuse me. I gotta look something up so I can listen to it later.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was just a little fun fact that I came across as I was going through the images and things for tonight. I found that, and a band called TV on the Radio. He's the lead singer for that. So anyway, I have listened to zero of it, but I plan on doing that tonight as well. It's just was trying to get everything, got out of work, got home, got the slide presentation put together, and sat down to talk with you beautiful nerds.
They've been around for a while and just had an album come out earlier this year, so I have stuff to listen to tomorrow.
There you go. Very cool. All right, and then we also met Fern's mom. Now, we first meet her as the person who comes to the school and is talking to all the students about this placement test, because apparently the kids in on this planet on Atten are placed into a career based on their test. And it's like, you don't have a choice. This is what you're going to do. And that's a theme we've seen in other sci-fi movies over generations. It's not all that untypical or uncommon to hear that kind of story. So I wasn't surprised to hear it here. But as we're hearing some of the descriptions of Atten, not only of what's happening on planet, but then now also things that when people find out that the kids are from Atten, that kind of starts to make more sense to me. Anyway, it did.
And all of their education sounds like it's, advanced math, finance.
Yeah.
So this is you're going to make us more money, or, you're going to be the garbage picker type thing.
Right.
Which garbage men make decent money. I'm just saying. Nobody wants to do the job, so they got to pay somebody to do it.
Right. It's a dirty job that nobody wants to do, but usually there's somebody there that's making pretty decent money off of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Our next couple slides are purely John. And so I am going to put these up I'm sure I'll have some little whimsical comments here and there to add to the conversation, but these are mostly John. Okay. So, and here goes.
All right. So this is one of my favorite things about new Star Wars is there's decades of material to dive into and pull little hints and everything out of. And so this holographic circus is one of my favorite little Easter eggs. Okay. I went all Gunther on this. Okay. Because they couldn't just steal the footage from the original. So they had to recreate the holographic circus from the holiday special. That Chewbacca's son, Lumpy, is watching, on Life Day. These kids are watching the same basic circus. I don't remember the performers' names, the characters in the circus. I saw them earlier, didn't write them down. But yeah, this little callback. So now technically, one more part of the holiday special is canon. Because there are multiple things from the holiday special that are starting to leak in. I mean, the first one was Boba Fett.
Right.
Because he first appeared, in the holiday special in a poorly animated sequence. I think R2-D2 ends up playing bass in that at some point. I've used that GIF somewhere recently. But the other thing that I loved from the holiday special that I think we all really loved was Mando's pulse cannon. That was also from the holiday special.
Yes, it was.
And everybody loves that gun.
And not realizing where it came from.
Right. And so it's overall this thing might have been terrible, but we can pull the bits and pieces that are good. Okay.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, it's like, and for those of us that remember seeing it, okay, I don't remember seeing it because that was 1978, 79, and I was born in 79.
It was in 78 because the movie was released in 77. They released that in 79, and then Empire came out in 81.
Was it 81 or 80?
I thought 81.
Yeah, I could be wrong. It happens. Ask our wives.
I'd rather not. I'll be told the other things I'm wrong on. So
there's a list just from today for me.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just enjoying the little callbacks to we're not going to say this thing is canon, but we're going to use some of the cool parts of it to just add details to the new stories like they're doing with everything else.
Granzer says the holiday special. Yes, I remember it. In the era of disco. Yes, it was. And hopefully that means that we'll get to, maybe John will get lucky and the B. Arthur dance number will become part of canon.
I would absolutely love to see Akmena sing and dance again. Obviously, they have to get a new actress because the footage from, 1970, whatever it was, before my time, is too degraded to actually use because I tried that with this.
Correct.
But,
with this hologram circus, that was really kind of cool because I was reading about how they had to redo this. That is not CGI. That is actual actors. And so they reshot the whole thing and then added some CGI to it to make it work. So they actually put time and effort in making the holiday special, this portion of the holiday special canon.
Yes.
So I do think that's make disco great again. I miss it.
Well, if you really miss it, you can always just listen to Nirvana because Dave Grohl lifted all of his coolest drum tracks from disco bands.
He does admit to that, yeah. And then speaking of Nirvana, the Foo Fighters, of course, Dave Grohl went on to become the singer for the Foo Fighters, but they have a whole disco album where they cover a lot of disco, specifically the Bee Gees, and I think they called it the DGs. But yeah, it's cool. It's actually pretty solid.
All right.
And Dave Grohl's going up and singing in that high falsetto voice. It's kind of fun. So,
yeah.
All right, moving on.
Okay. So this is my theory on the show. Right?
I'm listening.
Atten is the treasure planet. Because the kids have Old Republic credits that are actually worth something because they're made from precious metals. And they've left the treasure planet. And now they're with pirates. It's for Jim Hawkins in reverse.
I mean, I see it.
Yeah. And the other thing that really gets it for me is Smee, right? Smee is missing part of his head's contents.
Okay.
So was Ben in Treasure Planet.
To be clear, not our Ben.
No, not our Ben.
Not our Ben, but Ben from Treasure Planet, yes.
Yeah, the whatever electronic navigator. I forget what the B stood for.
Right.
I can remember that. But I have to make my anniversary my Wi-Fi password so I don't screw it up.
Nice.
Wouldn't be so bad if the original paperwork didn't get. Anyway, there's a story.
Anyway, yes, there's a story attached.
So my theory is that they're basically telling a Star Wars Goonies version of Treasure Planet. That these kids have left the Treasure Planet, they found Ben, and now the pirates want to go back where they came from. Like, this is where all the money is.
That would be fantastic if that's what happens. I mean, because A, I love all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And B, it'd be the first story of its kind in Star Wars that would just make it that much more enjoyable.
Right.
Because then you have an opportunity, for because what's happening now with Star Wars is that, we're getting actual writers, not people who, television writers on these sets instead of movie writers who are just trying to, Anyway, that's a whole nother topic, but we're going to talk about that in just a second too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that. I like that theory very, very much.
Yeah. And the kids meet Jude Law's character in the brig, which is not that different from where what's his name? Orlando Bloom's character meets Captain Sparrow in the Pirates movies the first time. It's like, oh, well, we just have to get you out of the brig, right? Mm-hmm. They're doing all these, it's Smee, it's Treasure Planet, it's all these Disney pirate properties. They're mixing together with Star Wars to make something new and cool.
Nice little tropes that they're using.
And I mean, Goonies was about a treasure map, pirate hunt.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pirates through and through, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. No, I'm very, very much here for it. So, which brings me to the question: what's coming next? So we have John's theory. But one of the things I love most about this show is that I'm watching this and I genuinely have no clue what's going to happen next. It's, when we were watching, when you're watching some of The Mandalorian, it is predictable. It was predictable in some ways because it had to be, because that was the progression of the story. The Book of Boba Fett was predictable because that's where the progression of the story had to go. The Acolyte was a little predictable because of what had to happen and some of the foreshadowing. If you were paying attention to the first couple episodes, you kind of figured out a few things. But I genuinely, while watching this, I don't have a clue as to legitimately where we're going. I think that's why I like your theory so much, is like, okay, I can see that happening. I could plant a flag on that and call it good and say, yeah, I'd be really, really okay with that.
Yeah. I'm okay with being completely wrong and having something out of left field,
Oh, for sure. As long as it's a solid story.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's, we're not really sure as to where this is going and what's happening. But so we try to be very toxic free on this show. We don't try to, we are toxicity free, but I do want to voice one complaint.
Uh-oh.
And it's not a big rant or anything. I'm not going to go on about this for hours because we've talked about this on other Star Wars shows. My problem is with the modern streaming platform. We only have 8 episodes and we don't have consistent runtimes. And we're using the first couple episodes, and I love that they're using the first couple episodes to set up. But I'm also annoyed with the fact to know that I only have 6 more episodes, ranging from anywhere from 3 hours to 6 hours worth of more content coming, and they got to wrap a whole season on the story up in 3 to 6 hours, and that's not going to be enough time if we compare this to the older episodes of shows like Star Trek: The Next Generation, where there was 20 to 25 episodes a season. and you were able to stretch these personality characteristics and stories out, and you were able to give them a sense of structure and even sometimes a little sense of grandeur, depending on what was going on. So it's not a huge complaint. It's not me sitting here going, Star Wars is dead and these people are stupid and they don't know what they're doing. It's nothing like that. It's just that I think that if we're going to help breathe some life into some of the challenges that Star Wars has, and even though that I am a huge Star Wars fan, I will admit on some of their shows they've had some writing challenges. You'd have to be a fool to say that they haven't. But I think that one of the things that's going to help fix this is if that they go in and they do have actual writers who've written in a television format before, so that these shows get set up and we leave the 8-episode premise and at least stretch these things to 15, 16 episodes. Build the content, build the context into these episodes so that, I don't mind that you've spent 2 episodes on story building and world building and all these things, because then it's going to make sense to me. We spent 2 episodes on story and world building and left as soon as we met the Jedi. Possible Jedi.
Yeah.
Possible Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just, for the sake of argument, I'm just going to call him the Jedi. Okay. We meet him, and that's where the story ends in episode 2. So it's to me, it's just more of a placement of, or an issue with the placement of the, because Jude Law's character is the main character. He's, the one that we've seen most, in my opinion, he's the main character. The one that we've seen most in the trailers and all these. They've made a big deal about him. I'm hoping that they're not Darth Mauling me. And if you watch The Phantom Menace, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, he
was in all the marketing. He was the coolest character, and they killed him.
And
2 lines
under 5 minutes of screen time. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my rant. That's my only complaint. Other than that, I was frustrated on Monday. I will be honest. John can attest to this. I was frustrated on Monday night. But I went back through and I've rewatched it and with a cooler head, and I am very much more enjoying everything. And I had come very much around to the storyline and everything. I was just annoyed by the inconsistent runtime and 2 episodes to get to the Jedi and then go, well, I guess we're done.
But that means we want to watch it next week now. So
it does. It's a cliffhanger. I get that, but see, Granger says that's the whole Fox network debates of sci-fi. Other than the X-Files TV show, maybe scheduled to fail. Well, that Firefly reference hurts. Still hurts. Too soon, Granger. Too soon. While with the black backlash. Okay. Yep. With the backlash, the other Star Wars they want to feed this tiny bit by bit, and the backlash is too strong. They don't want to lose more viewers, or the short majority vocal. The short majority is always vocal. You just have to depend on how much you're choosing to listen to them. Was the backlash too strong? I don't think so. I think that what they did is, and this is just a theory by me, so I could be completely wrong. But here's what I think is what, speaking of the other Star Wars properties and with the Acolyte specifically, I think what happened is that they canceled the show. Because there was some rating issues and rating discrepancies and all that. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to assess how much legitimately people actually want this back now versus the backlash that the show was getting at that moment, at that time. Manny Jacinto has gone out and made comment about the role that Darth Plagueis would play in season 2 and possibly even season 3. But he's like, I don't want to go. He said, I don't want to speak much more about that because I don't want to get people's hopes up. But there was lots of Darth Plagueis coming up.
Yeah. But as far as like the reaction to the show, there are certain other channels, certain reviewers, people who have very strong opinions about Star Wars. And even one of the worst of those in recent months has nothing but good things to say about this show.
Which he will have nothing but good things to say until his audience tells him differently, and then he will go with whatever direction they go.
But
That's Star Wars Theory, by the way. I'll pull the Band-Aid off. That's Star Wars Theory. He's going to cater to whichever side his audience goes to, and then he'll pander to them. If it's a positive, he'll stay on the positive side. If it's negative, he'll go negatively, because that's where he gets his money. So, but we're unpaid, so we can tell you what we want. I tell you what I want anyway. Yeah.
So speaking of reviews and review bombing, alleged review bombing. Okay.
Not alleged, but okay.
21 hours ago, there were 250 viewer reviews of Skeleton Crew on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
Somebody used the Wayback Machine to check the Acolytes ratings in that same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 10 times that number. There were like 2,500 some odd reviews, the majority of which were negative.
Correct.
So, and most other Star Wars shows have gotten a couple hundred reviews in the first couple hours, because this would be like right after people watch the first episode.
Right.
So if a show gets 10 times the number of reviews and they're overwhelmingly negative compared to everything else, it's safe to say that that's an anomaly and somebody's trying to cook the numbers.
Correct. And the numbers and the reviews for Skeleton Crew, both on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and other sources, have all been overwhelmingly positive. Yep. Everybody's seemingly enjoying this show. I know we are. And so there was some backlash with some of the other things, but it is what it is. Please bring back the great actor Ben Mendelsohn. Yeah, he's an awesome actor. He does really good, and I too would love to see him in another Star Wars production, but it would have to be just because of how visible his character was in Rogue One. I would have to be a pre-Rogue One. Be kind of cool to see him in Andor season 2. That would totally make sense to see him there.
Who did he play?
The guy who that Tarkin took responsibility for the Death Star. Krennic, yes, Krennic. Thank you.
Oh yeah, he's supposed to show up in Andor season 2.
Is he? Okay, yeah. Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, there you go, Granzer. Season 2, Andor. We can look forward to him there.
We'll probably be talking about that too.
Exactly.
As long as we don't get canceled.
We're not going to get canceled.
I know.
Even if I get canceled, I will continue on. Yay.
If by cancel, I mean taken off the air, but this is free.
I mean, hey, if they cancel us, they can cancel all the paychecks that we get from YouTube right now.
You get a paycheck from YouTube?
That was kind of my point, John.
I mean, I think I've gotten like 27 cents, but it has nothing to do with this show.
Love it. I have to go over and watch it with you, gents. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Looking forward to Andor when that comes out. We will definitely be reviewing Andor season 2 when it comes out. It's as much as I enjoyed season 1. Yeah, I'm starting my rewatch soon again, because I haven't done a Star Wars rewatch in a little bit. And I need to, because Star Wars, but
it's winter and it's dark at like 5:00 now. So I mean, it's
movie time.
Perfect Star Wars viewing.
Exactly. But yeah. Let's see. The backlash to cancel the FSF PopCast. We were just saying that jokingly. I don't think anybody has any issue with anything we do. If it does, it's from somebody that we don't care about. So it's probably, if anybody has an issue with us, it'll be Star Wars Theory, but that's fine. I'd welcome an issue from him. So I'm
just getting picked on for liking things,
Right. And the only way he's going to get upset with us is if we stuck a little close to home with our accuracy of comments about him and his personality. So
level up sabers are way better value than Theory sabers. A lot of them are from the same supplier, and they're like $50 to $100 cheaper. So level up sabers, better than stick, cheaper than Theory sabers. Anyway,
and you're not supporting a jerk. Anyway, okay, so
we can use another Lamborghini,
right? Please support my show with fan funding, because I can't afford it. Gets into Lamborghini and drives away.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, me and my used GMC pickup are just gonna go. Anyway.
Me and my Chrysler minivan.
Exactly. So anyway, I think for episodes 1 and 2, that's all, folks.
I love that.
Buddy Jesus says that's all.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about Kevin
he must
Smith.
be a Packers fan. He might very well be. That would explain
He's Canadian. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Until hockey season.
Canadian. Yeah. But still, depending on the team. Yeah. So, but yeah. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review of Skeleton Crew episodes 1 and 2. We'll be back next week for a review of episode 3. And I'm looking forward to episode 6, by the way. That'll be directed by the great Bryce Dallas Howard. Everything she has touched for Star Wars so far, I have absolutely loved. Yep. So I'm excited to see what she's going to do with the Skeleton Crew. But also as a reminder, we have the Star Wars RPG this upcoming Monday, 7 p.m. We'll be rolling the dice for your entertainment and possibly for our death. So
that's up to you guys.
You keep saying that. But fortunately, I have Mandalorian armor and high hit numbers. So
the dice have been stronger than anything else in recent games, which is why you guys are still alive.
They have been strong in equally opposite directions. So
last time I couldn't roll above an 8. It was ridiculous.
It was fantastic. I think you worded that wrong. So
dropping an F-bomb on there.
Grandeur says, have a great week. One Pride, Night of the Krampus. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week, both on our live stream for our Star Wars RPG and for I almost said Andor review of Skeleton Crew episode numero 3. And on that note, may the Force continue to be with you as you live long and prosper. Goodbye.
Copyright 2024 FSF PopCast. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF PopCast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.